Welcome back to another episode of Building the Pride. I am your host, Drew, and I'm joined as always by my co host, Mike. Mike, how are you?
Just as handsome as ever, Drew. How about yourself?
I'm good. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Another year older.
Another year older, another year wiser.
That would be nice. That would be. I would take another year wiser at this point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel another whole year wiser compared to, say, yesterday?
now I feel a whole year older though. I mean,
I bet.
I got this thing in my back where if I sleep wrong, it feels like someone's stabbing me with like a hot needle. That's no fun.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of work down here, and there's a lot of miscellaneous things, and everything I feel like makes me sore, and I don't know when did that start. Like just, you're crouching down and changing like an electrical outlet or something. And then you go to stand up, and you're like, oh, my knees. It was hard for me to stand up. My knees are sore. I'm like, when did that start happening? So
it's the worst.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Aging gracefully, it's hard.
I don't know about gracefully, but yeah, I'm certainly aging. So yeah. So we have actual news.
It's crazy. Finally, things are starting to happen.
Things are happening. We're going to talk about them. We'll see how positive or negative they are. So more importantly, let's stop talking about my birthday. So what do we got up first this week, Mike?
So some news and notes around the NFL. We were talking about Trey Hendrickson over in Cincinnati. He seems to be still digging in his heels and refusing to report and preparing to sit out. No change there, which is both surprising and unsurprising.
Yeah, so he is now in Florida with his wife. They took a page out of your playbook.
It's hot down here. I'm trying not to melt.
It is hot. So his issue, apparently he has been offered at least 2 contracts by, I believe it's the Bengals at this point. Like, I guess it's possible another team floated a contract offer to his agent in order to like help induce a trade. But I also think that's probably tampering. So he's been offered at least 1 deal by the Bengals. His problem is that there's no guaranteed money beyond the first year. And as the Bengals extend not only this holdout, but their holdout with both their first and second round picks, which I believe their second round pick, Demetrius Knight, is still unsigned as of today. I haven't checked, but I believe he's still unsigned. It's about the language of the contract and what the timing and the guarantees on some of these things are. So I've heard of several things since this little mini saga has begun, which is that the Bengals owners are the poorest owners in the NFL, and they treat the franchise like it's the thing that makes them we have to live on this money, which is ridiculous.
Like when you say poorest, not like worst, but like least well off.
They have the least amount of like discretionary wealth.
Yeah.
Now, they have a franchise. I don't know what the Bengals franchise is valued at, but I know it's in the billions. So you have something that you could borrow against if you, quote unquote, $5 billion.
5.25 billion.
Mere tuppence, as Mary Poppins would say. But you can borrow against that and have tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in discretionary income that you'll effectively never have to pay back because you have a cash printing business in the Cincinnati Bengals. And you're squabbling over money to 2 draft picks and your best defensive player. I don't get it. It's like
you're putting that value at risk, right? Like you can't do this stuff, and your best guys leave. Your value is not going to go up as much. I doubt it'll go down. It's the NFL, but like the worse you are, the less valuable you are. If you get rid of your players, the worse you become. The less value. Like, come on, like, how do they not figure this out?
And what you just said is an incredibly valid point. And then, but on top of that, like the way that they are dealing with an established player in Trey Hendrickson and rookies, like two complete different ends of the spectrum, they're treating them the same way. If you are somebody in the NFL, do you really want to go play for Cincinnati? If this is how, what happens if you're a rookie they drafted and you get really good? Are they going to play hardball with you when it comes time for your second contract? Looks like yes. If you get drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, are they going to play hardball with you over the language in the contract? And here's the language that, per the Bengals owner himself, that they're dealing with. Shamar Stewart wants all of the guarantees, the language in the contract to cover basically every scenario that could come up. Like he gets arrested, he gets put in jail, he gets accused of a crime, he gets hurt, he gets abducted by aliens, whatever it might be. He wants that money guaranteed. Okay. The Bengals are holding out for language that would say, if you get arrested and are unavailable to the team, we don't have to pay you. So let's think about this. How many active NFL players have been arrested and put in jail to the point that they can't play?
We might have one.
Who's that?
It literally just happened. He was given 30 days in jail. But the timing is kind of, yes, Rashee Rice. So up to 30 days, I think a minimum of 30 days in jail, which with that, the league can and likely will suspend him. Probably so it coincides with his 30 days in jail. So that's the only time I've seen something like that outside of who is the dude from the Raiders that was going 120 miles an hour, killed someone
Henry
in
Ruggs.
jail. Yeah, like that stuff is a freak of nature kind of does not happen very often.
Correct. So they're holding out for those types of situations with Shamar Stewart.
So, but on the other hand, doesn't that seem realistic? If Shamar Stewart's like, I don't anticipate getting arrested anytime soon, not something I need, not a hill to die on.
So I guess where I come down on this is the reality of the rest of the NFL is, sure, we'll guarantee it. Let's get you in camp.
Yeah.
And the Bengals are the outliers. And the opinion that the Bengals have is, hey, I don't want to pay you if that's the case. And I get it. For people like you and me, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm running a business. One of my employees gets drunk on a Sunday and gets thrown in jail. I don't want to pay him for Monday because he missed work or whatever. And he's arguing that in his contract, he should be paid for his stupid behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
I'm going to use PTO hours.
Right. Makes sense. I get it. But this is not that.
Yeah.
So, and when you're, 1 out of 32 who has this differing opinion, and whatever maybe they're completely correct or whatever, and Shamar Stewart's completely wrong, they're still hurting their franchise at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, however long it goes on with either the rookies or with Trey Hendrickson, they're damaging the reputation of their organization, and you should not be doing this at this time. You have Joe Burrow, you have 2 wide receivers that are locked up. Like, the problem that you have is that your defense is bad, and every player involved in these holdouts is a defensive player.
Yeah.
You can't afford this, like, literally or
and you don't want to become what the Lions were, the
Right.
place no one wants to go to because ownership was so bad.
Right.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, you hear players in the media now saying things like, no, I want to go, like playing for Dan Campbell, or like in Detroit, like that's a team on the rise. That's a guy I want to play for. Like that, and up in, one of the kind of gripes I have right now about Brad is that, like, he has not extended Aiden or JMO when it seems likely that they're both going to get extended to whatever amount of money.
Right.
They're both eligible. We both know that it's beneficial to be the first to extend as opposed to the last.
Please don't wait for Micah.
Right.
Don't wait for Micah.
And we just saw TJ Watt get the biggest non-quarterback deal in history.
Yeah. 123 million, so 41 over 3.
Crazy.
Crazy
4 number.
123 over 3, 41 million per.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so whether it's about the language that's in the contract and you taking a stand on it, the duration about how long this has taken, the fact that it's at least 2 rather prestigious players in your organization, your star defender or your most recent first round draft pick, like, you are sending a very clear message to not only the rest of the NFL, but to your own team. This is how we're going to treat you. So, like, I kind of empathize with Joe Burrow last year when he's sitting on the sideline going, we're 6-8. This sucks. And it's like, how much of this kind of thing, if Cincinnati eliminated it from like their off-season program, if they had Trey Hendrickson and Stewart in camp, getting in shape, getting ready to go, everyone's happy.
Reps,
planning, getting off on a solid foot. Like, that was their problem last year. They started 0-4. And so now if you get both of these guys, if you sign them tomorrow, you've lost this week. Well, not really, but like you've lost time, right? You've lost everything they could have done if you just signed them like the day after the draft, and which you can do because you know what the contract's going to be before. I mean, like, you can look up right now to know what the 18th pick in next year's draft contract's going to look like as soon as the salary cap is announced. So
have it written up and just fill in the name later, right?
Yeah, it's literally that difficult, Mike. It's literally that difficult. Is that, like, you can just have ChatGPT do it for you with a couple of prompts, Like, that's what I don't understand, is that this just comes down to pride. And so right now, it's the pride of Trey Hendrickson versus Shamar Stewart versus Bengals ownership. And, like, you have 2 guys that know that they're needed up against the guy with the money, and like, there's no, I don't think, real incentive for Trey Hendrickson or Shamar Stewart to play.
No, it's interesting. And then you got a guy like Tyrann Mathieu retiring after 12 seasons. So he just kind of the Barry Sanders right on the eve of training camp called it a career. I mean, dude was really good, and I'm assuming it took the Saints by shock.
Yeah, I would imagine that.
But that's a real bummer for them because he was damn good.
Yeah. So just weird. It's just been weird, and like, here's the kind of thing I'm used to. Like, Terry McLaurin is holding out for a new contract. He's 29, like, Spot Track or Spotrack, whatever, however they say their name, values him at 3 years, $93 million for a contract extension. So 31 a year.
31. Wow. All right.
So
It's about what Amon-Ra makes right now.
right.
I'd take Amon-Ra.
I know. Terry McLaurin's not a bad.
No, he's not. But
Not a bad
of the
receiver.
two, I'd take Saint.
Yeah,
But
of course, he's our guy.
So speaking of Saint, let's swing over to the Lions side of things. One of the things that we were talking about previously was the questions surrounding this year, and are we going to take a step back because we lost Frank Ragnow, we lost Kevin Zeitler. Maybe most importantly, maybe not, we lost 2 assistant coach of the year candidates, one of which won. Ben Johnson goes to Chicago, AG goes to New York Jets to head coach both of those places respectively. And I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do. That was one of the reasons why I brought us down a peg. I still think we're going to win the division. I just don't necessarily think we're going to go like 15-2 and get number 1 overall seed. But you were like, I don't know, like we're still really good. And kind of bringing it back. So that's the same thing that Amon-Ra says here. He's like, it's not like we're going to go from Ben and AG to some coaches that don't know anything. Don't act like we're bringing in a scrub. These coaches know ball. So I'd say you and St. Brown are on the same page with like what to expect with the upcoming year.
Yeah, I guess my kind of faith here, so to speak, is based upon the fact that not much on the field has changed for Detroit. I mean, certain things have changed, right? So like Frank Ragnow, Kevin Zeitler, they're gone. We get Aiden Hutchinson back. Ali McNeil, Malcolm Rodriguez, hurt. Levi Nwuzurike, hurt. We had 1 year of a Levi Nwuzurike when he wasn't hurt. It was nice.
Yeah.
But like I think about last season, that team is 15-2 with the most horrific slate of defensive injuries I think that you could probably find in the modern since this CBA began in 2011.
19 just on the defensive side of the ball were on IR.
It's insane.
Wow.
So you get your best defensive player back. You had a draft pick in there to kind of shore up some of the holes.
Middle.
And like I've had this debate with Michael Lutchies over on Twitter. He's a Lions fan. He sometimes jumps in the chat. I think pretty highly of the backups that Detroit has, in the works, on the defensive line, like Pat O'Connor, for example. Like we signed a dude from the Arizona Cardinals. Like I have a relatively high opinion of their ability when they're getting snaps, and like I think that one of the reasons why I think that way is that when I go back and I watch year 1 of this organization, when you had St. Brown, Derek Barnes, Levi Nwuzurike, Ali McNeil, all out there because there's nobody else and they're getting snaps, like that matters.
They were playing well.
It goes a long way to like the development and maturation of like football players is when they are playing snaps that matter.
Yep.
And even though I would love it if Ali McNeil was healthy and if Levi Nwuzurike was healthy and we had Frank Ragnow healthy, which I think is the main reason why he retired, is that he's never probably going to be healthy again.
Yeah.
I also think that the guys they have in the building, with just a couple of exceptions, have been here, know the system, and are going to get to play meaningful snaps. And is it going to be like Ali McNeil's out there? No, but like, it doesn't mean they can't do a good job. And right. I guess I'll just continue to think that they do a good job until I'm shown that like they don't.
They can't. Yeah. Yeah.
So and so like what he says here about the coordinators, like, it's not like these guys are just like, oh, we just pick these guys off the street. They have to learn everything about football.
Yeah. Other things you kind of talked about it. Anzalone dealing with a hamstring injury, doesn't have a timetable for his return, says Dan Campbell. Oh, on a totally unrelated note, he's not particularly happy with his contract. Thoughts?
So, yeah.
Is Dan covering for him, or is this an opportunity to have a hamstring injury that is okay, maybe an injury, but certainly wouldn't keep him, away from the game if it was real, right?
I think that if Alex Anzalone was offered a new contract extension tomorrow, he's practicing on Thursday.
Yeah. His hamstring injury was solved.
And like this is more of an NBA thing than it is an NFL thing. But like, and I'm not calling Alex Anzalone a liar, but I also think like this is a way for both parties to save a little bit of face inside of what I think is starting to become a rather contentious situation. So I saw a 2-minute interview clip with Alex Anzalone today where he basically stated that he had let Lions management know a long time ago that he felt underpaid compared to what he was, the level that he was playing, which I would agree with. That's why he's a deal. And that he said that he wants to retire a Lion, which I would be fine with if it's like in the next 2 years. And I want him out on the field, but here we go. This is kind of the first time this organization has had somebody basically say like, I'm relatively unhappy with my deal and I want more money, and this is an organization that was like, well, we're paying $5.7 million for Zadarius Smith, too high a price. We're cutting you. He had 2 years left on his deal. So they haven't re-signed him. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some other team came knocking and it was like, hey, Zadarius, we'll give you 6.
If he really wants to come back to Detroit.
He does. He has said that publicly. And I still think that if, I don't know,
literally anybody else, name a team, Drew.
$6 million.
Tampa Bay. Just say Tampa Bay. It's beautiful. There's no income tax.
$6 million. Why don't you come play for us? He'd be like, well, I'll pack my bags. Florida's great. And Disney World and Universal Studios down there and fishing.
Yeah, and no income tax.
No income tax. That's a big one. And because ultimately it comes down to that. Like people are always going to, like Cincinnati might need a bunch of free agents after next year. And there will be people that will go play there because they'll still get paid millions of dollars, and they get to play football for a living. But, it's not, if it's 6 million, if it's the same money somewhere else, you may not.
Right.
So like Detroit is being, in my opinion, with Alex Anzalone and Zadarius Smith, maybe a little too cute. Maybe just sign them. Maybe just end this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little mixed because I think I'm a big believer in. I signed a contract.
Sure.
This is what I said I would do. This is what I was happy with, and I should just live up to the contract. At the same time, I also understand the contracts aren't guaranteed, and the team can cut you, even though they also committed to that whatever number of years. They can just up and cut you at any point if they want to as well. So the NFL is one of those leagues where neither side actually has to live up to their signature, right? So I'm a little mixed on, hey, you put your name on that paper, you said you would, you should just do the thing that you said you were going to do, while also speaking out of the other side of my face, knowing that the teams don't have to do that either. So it's just one of those things about the league that I'm not a big fan of. I'd rather see guaranteed contracts and like You sign it, that's what you committed to, and it is what it is. They committed, you committed. We know what we're going to get. But to your point, last year, they're doing things right. They are by far the wealthiest sport in the nation, probably the world. I know soccer is really big over in Europe, but I still think the NFL is bigger than the European League over there too. So we're doing something right. So I might as well not change it.
Yeah, I mean, they can't go play European soccer. So, I mean, like,
Right.
I'm not, it's ridiculous.
But European soccer can come over here and be a kicker. You never know.
You could. Yeah, this is kind of a heartbreaker for me.
On Uzurike?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably for him too.
This could be a career ender. So when I saw this, I thought to myself, when did he get hurt? We're talking about this day one of training camp. Like, did he get hurt day one of training camp? And he did not. So apparently, for Uzurike, he had become injured end of the season, slightly after the season, and it became a greater and greater problem to the point where they had to check, and then it was determined, yeah, you need to have surgery, so he's out for the season. That could be a killing blow for him. Like, he is on a 1-year prove it deal for no money. And now he's got the back issues plus a torn ACL.
And I'm not sure that it's a guaranteed injury guarantee. Remember, there are two different types of guarantees. One includes injury and one doesn't. So he may be just out of luck.
Yes, which would be. Now, I also think that, like, Detroit's not going to kick him out of the facility if he wants to, like, get 3 squares a day kind of a scenario or whatever. But, like, they're also not going to be like, well, we are going to pay you $786,000 and change this week for not playing, So that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for him as a player and a person. It's unfortunate for us and our defensive line depth, because I had him penciled in as the 3-technique starter on the defensive line. And now
we have a rookie, rookie, essentially. Yeah.
So now you're probably going to play Tyleik Williams at the 3, which they drafted him based on the assumption that he can do that. Yeah. But, like, that was not what he did in college. It's like the Tate Ratledge thing. Also, the people who I trust about what's going on with the Lions do have Tate Ratledge penciled in as the week 1 starter at center. So it had all better work out. All of this had better work out.
Yeah, I've heard a couple different things, mostly around Glasgow where he's playing, and less about Tate. But I've heard 2 different things. He's going to play guard. He's going to play center, and I'm like, well, that seems to be it's going to be one of those. Which one? I'll be curious to see where he lands. Other injury news: Taylor Decker. Just your average shoulder clean out. He should be back in August, which, by the way, is 2 weeks away. So he should be coming back very soon. Pascal is more of an early September guy.
He said Decker has had problems with that shoulder for years.
Yeah, so, at least it wasn't his pec, because that could, at his age, would probably be a career ender.
Yeah.
Pascal sounds like maybe early September, maybe late September.
He doesn't have to do anything until week 1 of the season, as far as I'm concerned. Like, he just needs to be healthy for the season.
Yeah.
He's going into year 4, so this is a contract year for him. So hope he comes back healthy and plays well. Okay. Good. Happy for him. Before we go any further, I want to say something.
Yeah, let's do it.
I believe in Brad Holmes. I'm very happy with the jobs Brad Holmes has done turning the Detroit Lions around. But for the first 3 years, they effectively had 0 injuries on the roster. Like, the stuff that we saw last year, which was extreme, and the stuff that we are seeing this year, that's normal. That's every NFL team's dealing with some version of that.
Yeah.
And here's my problem. when you have projects like Sione Vaki, who I like, or Giovanni Manu, who I've never seen play football, or you trade up and pay a pretty hefty trade up fee to go get Broderick Martin in the 3rd round and then Isaac Tesla in the 3rd round, and you give up all of this equity, this is where you see the back end of those moves. Because when you have so many projects on the team, when you give up equity in the form of draft picks to move up to target players, even if those kinds of players like Tesla would not have been there by the time your next pick showed up, this is where that is hurting you.
Yeah.
So
Depth,
right? So like Detroit now, I think will probably deal with some version of this injury situation, depending on which player it is, year in, year out. So I'm still very optimistic about the team, but injuries, fate, whatever, has started to poke little holes in the roster.
Yeah.
And I know that when I think about like my complaint, I'm basically saying, hey, Brad Holmes, just be 100% perfect all the time. And then this wouldn't have happened, or maybe it's mitigated to some degree. And that's not realistic. But I also don't think that it's out of line to basically say you didn't have to give up 2/3 to move up for Tesla. Like, is wide receiver 3 or 4 necessary to give all that up when, like, oh, what happens if, or maybe we take a couple of these day 2 guys and stick them on the roster, to like bolster this unit. Like, we've seen him attack units secondary. Like, you had something that somebody, I think it was PFF, said the Lions have the 6th highest rated secondary in the NFL.
Let's pop right over to that. We do. Per PFF, we have the number 6 secondary.
Okay.
Baltimore at number 1, not particularly surprising.
No, they're stats.
Kansas City has a pretty decent. I was a little surprised by Denver and Houston, though. Like, I think of Denver, Houston, and New England. I'm like, who are the guys there that make it that good? I figured Eagles would be higher. I figured the Jets with Sauce Gardner, and I don't see the Jets on there at all. So I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, I think with Denver, obviously, so like Denver, Houston, and New England all have a headliner, right? They have a headliner cornerback. And
are any of them as good as Sauce?
I think league wide, people would say that Patrick Surtain is better than Sauce Gardner. Now, Derek Stingley, that's coin flip. I think you're going to have your Stingley and Gardner supporters. And then New England, I don't think that. I think that Sauce Gardner is clearly a better corner than either of their 2 guys.
Yeah.
But then Houston has Jalen Petrie as like a nickel, and they drafted some kid from Georgia that really played out his rookie year who's looks good. So they're 3 deep, 4 deep, possibly. New England has Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez, and maybe one more guy. So like if you're getting to like the 2 or 3 deep, that's what I'm looking at these secondaries, and I'm saying like, it's not just Darrelle Revis on the other side and then a bunch of scrubs, like it's
right.
It's like these guys are 2, 3, they have depth. And like, that's one thing that the Lions have. It's like, okay, we have the, 2 great safeties. You sign DJ Reed, year 2 of Terry and Arnold, and you have depth.
Rakestraw. And you got guys like Rakestraw that they're young, they're going to get reps, but they're decent. I mean, they're not Stingley or Sauce Gardner or whatever, but like they're pretty decent considering.
Who's the other little guy that played so well at the end of last year? Why don't we have anyone in chat helping us? Come on, guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
Amik Robertson.
Amik, yeah.
So like those kinds of guys exist on some of these secondaries, but they all have a headliner. So I think that's kind of, they just, and I'm not in love with PFF at the moment. Like, I don't understand why Chicago's on there. I mean, Chicago doesn't have a headliner. I mean, like, so their best maybe their second best secondary player isn't even on the field most of the time because he's a nickelback. So I do think that the Jets should be on here just for Sauce Gardner, but
Yeah.
I think all of these other secondaries are like, we have 2+, 3+ really good players. Maybe not all stars or all pros, but really good players.
Well, since let's roll into another PFF ranking.
Sure.
PFF has their top 50 wide receivers, and we've got St. Brown sitting there at number 4, which is where I put him in. Him and Puka, I can see 4A, 4B kind of thing, but I definitely think those first. Well, I'm surprised at AJ being number 1. I figured he'd either be JJ or Chase. But
I can't get behind that. I'm sorry. Like, AJ Brown has been great.
I feel like he should drop over to 3, right?
But this is like, they won the Super Bowl, so you're the best wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, like, there's no way he's better than Justin Jefferson or Ja'Marr Chase. And I'm going to throw this out there. Like, Nico Collins has been the number 1, the highest rated wide receiver in the NFL over the last 2 years combined.
Yeah.
And I see him at 7, and I think, like, it's nice that they're acknowledging him. He should probably be higher than 7. I don't know where to put him.
Yeah.
It's pretty crowded 1 through 4. But, like, I look at him and I think, would I rather have him or AJ Brown for a game? If you got to just pick a game on your calendar and just be like, I can have AJ Brown or Nico Collins for this game on my team, I think that's a coin flip.
Yeah.
So how much difference is there between 1 and 7? I don't think there's a ton. This is a lot of quibbling. So
yeah, I do think that. I mean, to me, JJ and Chase are 1 and 2. And you can argue which order. Chase had Triple Crown last year. JJ is JJ, and he had Sam Darnold throwing to him and still played really, really well. And then I kind of put Brown, St. Brown, Puka, and CD into kind of like that next tier. That could be, you can jumble those guys around. Nico Collins, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans. I'm surprised Tyreek's there. He struggled last year quite a bit compared to his previous couple of years. But Mike Evans, the dude has he ever not had 1,000-yard receiving season?
No,
I'm not even sure. It's like 12 for 12 or something crazy. So continues to be great. I'm curious about Devontae Adams. Like, I think I'd rather have him up there than Tyreek Hill, to be honest. Like, if you were going to pick one, depending on what your team and your scheme looks like. But like,
I would put Tyreek over Devontae. I mean, like, Devontae's years in Las Vegas and New York are nothing to write home about. I mean, now you can say he didn't have anyone good throwing him a ball. That's right. That's right. He did not. And that's why, that contributed to him having lackluster years, but he still had them. And like, Tyreek's not Mike Evans, but like, and he has Tua throwing him the ball, but like, he just took a step back like last season.
Yeah, so, it's one step back, one year of a step back. It's not a trend. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
So, what are the things in here? Roster moves. We signed Tate Ratledge. We signed DiCaprio Bootle. Tyson Russell and Jabari Small. So depth guys that are going to fight for a roster, like a depth roster spot, last cornerback, fifth or running back kind of thing. Maybe practice squad guys. Is that kind of the way that you read that as well?
Yeah, outside of Tate Ratledge, I definitely think these are back, like, fighting for roster spots.
Yeah.
Kind of guys. Like, there's no way Jabari Small makes the roster. 0.
No, I can see maybe practice squad.
So then, like, let's just take a look at, like, so if you're thinking, okay, so you have Arnold, Reed, those are your 2 cornerbacks. Robertson, probably your nickel.
Yeah.
So then you have Rakestraw on a rookie deal. And who am I forgetting here? Somebody.
On the corners.
Just at corner.
Dang it.
They signed Devontae Maddox. That was a
they
free
have
agent
not posted
signing.
their depth chart yet.
It's okay, I got it. Yeah, this is the Lions are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They are at least 5 deep at corner. I would not be surprised if they keep a 6th corner, but that 6th corner is a special teamer, almost assuredly. So these guys, I think, are brought in to see, A, are we going to keep a 6th? B, is it because we need a gunner? Because like Khalil Dorsey is one of your gunners on special teams, and I think the kid that they drafted from Georgia in like round 7, like that's primarily the reason they drafted him, and I didn't just pick him up as a UDFA, is that they wanted that kid because he's been a gunner on special teams at Georgia. So these guys, I feel like, are either just camp bodies, or it's like, we'll give you a chance. Who knows? Like, we have the ability to sign you. Why shouldn't we?
I'm trying to think. There were some other things in here that I was going to bring up. The NFL is doing their top 100 players. So far, they've only gotten through 67 that they've released. But let's take a look at some Lions that we've got on here. So we've got Sam Laporta at 94. He's down 14 from last year. Let me zoom in for you. So he's down 14 spots from last year. Last year he was at 80. And then we had one more up here. Scrolly 5. All right, Kirby Joseph is at 71. Last year he did not crack the top 100. So led the league in interceptions, first team All-Pro. 71. That's cool. Congratulations, Kirby. I'll be really curious to see where guys like Hutch. I mean, so here are the guys that are going to be on this list that we haven't seen yet. Somewhere above 67. Hutch will be on this list. Yeah. St. Brown will be on this list. Penei Sewell will be on this list. Does Goff? I'm assuming Goff has to be on this list, right?
Probably.
I mean, he had a statistically really good year last year. Won 15 games. I feel like he's probably on this list still. I figured he would be somewhere between 67 and 100, but I can't imagine him outside of the top 100. So I would assume Goff is going to be on this list. And that's probably the list of Lions, but it's still a lot.
Oh, yeah. Considering that like 4 years ago, we didn't have any. Maybe right. Matt. Probably Matt. Yeah. But like
Matt was on there.
That's it.
But that was it. That was it. So I thought that was cool. I'll be curious to see, every week they're going to be adding new people. So we'll get down to 61 by the end of this week. And then next week, we'll figure out who the 60 through 51 is.
Yeah, I mean, these are all nice. And, like, I think that fans should be happy about seeing the players from the team on this list. But, like,
just this is voted by the other players, too. This isn't just, like, the New York media or whatever. Like, this is their peers.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that, like, just be happy that the Lions have as many players as they're going to end up having on the list.
Yep.
So, because it's probably going to be 5 or 6. So,
McLaurin. I was just looking through the latest news. Stafford sounds like he's got a sore back. That's a bummer for him, but that's what happens when you get older. And then I'm going to stop. I'm going to reshare this because I thought this was kind of cool. AWS Next Gen Stats in the NFL have a new metric called tackle probability. But I need to reshare this with audio. So un momento. Stop screen.
Oh, thanks,
Share.
Dr. Detroit. Appreciate that, man. We got some action, ass action or good action. I am not sure what the difference in those two things are. In all honesty. I'm going to go with good action. Because I'm really unfamiliar with the first one.
All right, so let me turn the audio up. Give me the thumbs up if you can hear it. Otherwise, I'll check it out. But this is their new introduction to tackle probability stats.
Next Gen Stats created its tackle probability model with AWS to answer numerous questions around tackling.
Yeah, I'm coming.
This model helped create many statistical metrics, including identifying tackle opportunities and thus missed tackles, along with the player forcing the missed tackle and with how many yards were gained after a missed tackle attempt.
Saquon Barkley, 78 yards.
Defensive players are successful in making a tackle on around 87% of attempts, meaning an offensive player is able to force a missed tackle on 13% of tackle opportunities.
Slips to a tackle. He's taking it home.
Defenders at every level are consistent in their ability to tackle. Linebackers lead defensive position groups, missing 12% of tackle attempts, with defensive linemen and secondary players each missing around 13% of opportunities.
Cuts away from one, spins away from another, to the 40 and to the 37-yard line.
On offense, running backs predictably force the highest missed tackle percentage as they receive the ball with the highest number of defenders close to them. The average NFL running back forces a missed tackle on 24% of touches, and they gain an average of 5.4 yards after a forced missed tackle.
Busting through into the secondary.
Wide receivers have the next highest forced missed tackle rate at 14%, almost half as often as backs. Considering the tackle probability model can identify when and where on the field missed tackles take place, we can then calculate an offensive player's yards gained after forcing a missed tackle.
Staying on his feet, able to slip the tackle.
Quarterbacks force the lowest missed tackle rate, but gain the most yards on average after a missed tackle, as many of their rushes are in the open field on scrambles.
The beast does it again.
Missed tackles are very important when it comes to getting off the field for a defense. As you just saw, an offensive player gains more than half the yards needed for a first down on average after breaking a tackle. When defenses miss fewer than 6 tackles in a game, they win 67% of such games. Conversely, when missing 16 or more tackles, they're only able to get the win 20% of the time.
And he will take it.
You shouldn't win if you miss 16 tackles.
The game of football continues to evolve with more passing, motion, and varying formations. The game still comes down to the fundamentals.
Fundamentals in the ball, and it's not something that hasn't changed.
Whether defenders are able to chase and tackle plays a huge part in whether their team wins, and the Next Gen Stats tackle probability metrics help provide fans that context.
I really like that one because
Next Gen Stats created its
because they broke it down by like who breaks the most and what's gained when they do.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah, I love watching the Next Gen Stats version of Thursday Night Football. Watching the speed, watching the last year I think was when they debuted the hot rusher, like the pass rush or blitz probability or whatever, and you could see like they would get like a little blue circle around them if they appeared like they were going to likely blitz. And I'll be damned if they weren't right probably 85% of the time, 90% of the time. They were like, yep, this guy looks like he's – and sometimes you could see it looked like they were backing away. And I'm like, why is he highlighted? And all of a sudden, right as the ball snapped, the dude just rolls right at the quarterback. I'm like, oh, well, you called it. So a lot of it is like which way are they – not which way are they going, but which way are they tilting and, that kind of stuff. So it's super interesting the way that they pull these stats. I think they measure something like 10 different metrics per millisecond And that's crazy. So they're basically 100 metrics a second as they're doing the next gen stat stuff inside those sensors in their pads and whatnot. Pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, like, as someone who has watched football on television since they were 7, I would love it if we had something being like, yeah, they're probably going to blitz from here. It's a really high. Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Or, oh, it looks like they're in this, this coverage because of this reason or whatever. Like, just a step beyond, like, the just common drivel that, like, announcers give us now on major networks. So if Thursday Night Football, which is done by Prime, right?
Yes. Yep.
Then if they're going to do that, like, that is a legit reason why I would want to watch it.
It's pretty cool. I really like, they got the little bubble. It's almost like watching Madden at times, because like when they go up to the line, they got the bubbles underneath the main players, so your wide receivers and your running back and whatnot, so you can figure out who's where. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, if I don't have to figure out which is the guy that I want to watch. Is he at the top of the line, at the top of the screen, or the bottom of the screen? The little lines where the routes get run. It's pretty cool if you haven't seen it. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to bring up, speaking of top 50 lists and that kind of stuff, PFF has their top 50, the 50 best players of 2025 going into 2025. We've got Myles Garrett at number 1, Mahomes at 2, Burrow at 3. Before I scroll, who do you think the top Lion is, and where do you think he is going to be ranked in the top 50?
I'm going to guess it's Gibbs.
Okay.
And I'm going to guess it's 18th.
18th. All right, let's scroll through real quick, because I know you want to do a way too early mock draft. So we'll do this, and then you can get into a mock draft.
Okay.
But and if you want to talk about anybody in the order, we can do that.
Sure. Burrow's too high.
Burrow's too high. Lamar Jackson at 4, Allen at 5, Chris Jones at 6, Mike Parsons, Derrick Henry, George Kittle. To me, this is a little too high for me. And I'm surprised Saquon's not above Derrick Henry.
Sure.
TJ Watt, Jordan Mailata, first offensive tackle on the list.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa, Tristan Wirfs, the second tackle. Dexter Lawrence, Rashawn Slater.
That's interesting.
Four tackles before we've gotten to Penei Sewell at all.
So I think that he's going to get so the ones that they've talked about so far are all left tackles.
Mm-hmm.
But like Rashawn Slater is tough, but like they're the same class. They weren't drafted that far apart. Like I still think Penei is better, but okay.
Yeah. Apparently, he has the second most valuable left tackle in the PFF WAR,
which I desperately want access to, and they will not give any form of subscriber access to WAR stats. So,
AJ Brown at 16, Trent Williams, another left tackle, Justin Jefferson, surprisingly way down at 18. Like I figured he would have been top 10-ish.
Yeah.
Lane Johnson, another offensive tackle. Jamar Chase at 20.
First right tackle.
First right tackle. First line, Penei Sewell, number 21.
Okay. I'm fine with it. I don't.
22, Sauce, Gardner. Hutch is at 25. And St. Brown, like 3 Lions almost back to back in the 20s. So 3 out of the top 26 is really good. Even if they are at toward the bottom end of the top 26, that's still really, really good. Puka's down at 32, Max Crosby at 33, Bijan at 35. Let's see. So there we go. There's your Nico Collins, 37. Tyreek, he's ahead of Tyreek. Trey Hendrickson may not even play this year if he doesn't get his thing going.
Oh, he'll play. It just won't.
Got our
Well-
first guard, Joe Thuney.
Okay.
Your boy Jalen Carter,
I love him.
45.
Yeah, I love him.
Jahmyr Gibbs at 46.
Okay.
Jared Verse. Yeah. Mike Evans, Josh Jacobs, and Jalen Hurts. So we have 4 Lions in the top 50 per PFF. I think Gibbs should be much higher than this. But there's a lot of really good players. So
I think by the
it
end
is.
of this season, he will be a lot higher.
Yeah, I agree.
If they're planning to feature him at all this season, thank you, Brian. I really appreciate the well wishes. If they're going to feature him like that article suggested they were going to feature him, he could skyrocket up that list. So,
Well, I know Campbell said something to the effect of, "Hey, we haven't forgotten about him. Like he is, him being Montgomery." Because I think they were asking if Gibbs is just the primary back now, and he's like, "No, he's an integral part of our thing, splitting carries and yada yada. We haven't forgotten about him." So I think it's going to be 60-40 Gibbs now instead of the other way around. I think he has earned that. But Monty's still a damn good running back.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't deny that I think Gibbs is coming on as a player, but like I still think that Montgomery is the more valuable running back on a down and distance. Kind of keep like he is to the running game what Amon-Ra St. Brown is to the passing game, like, and those two things being on the same team is amazing. And so, like, you were showing us that next gen stat, like, there's a reason why the Lions targeted guys like Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, because they know that breaking tackles is that important, and so like when Bijan Robinson was at Texas, he broke the NCAA record for broken tackles in the season, which I believe was then broken this year by Ashton Ginty. But do you know whose record he broke when he was in college?
Probably Barry Sanders.
David Montgomery's.
Oh, David. All right. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, they do it different ways. Obviously, Gibbs is shifty and electric, and Montgomery is more like, my legs look like chicken drumsticks and I'm going to like power through you and you can't tackle me, that type of thing. But they both make people fail to tackle them. So like, I don't know that the Lions can go wrong so long as they have either one of them on the field. So, and they're going to have one of them on the field. So great.
Yeah. And as the next gen stats thing points out, if you miss too many tackles, you just don't win games.
And the Lions have largely predicated like even Jameson Williams in a way, I wouldn't say that he quote unquote makes people miss tackles, but like, I mean, there's also
he doesn't break tackles.
Never
he
has a chance to tackle
yes.
him, right? Like, what is that not the cousin to a broken tackle? I mean, like,
yes.
If you watch me as I run away from you, like category of whatever, like, okay, neat, like, I think that I'm willing to have that on the roster too, it's cool. So they just seem to be collecting these guys who have these varied ways of making sure that you don't go down at first contact, and
yeah,
that's super valuable as your AWS stat, next gen stat, indicates. So like, I'll be happy that maybe we could do that, dude. Maybe we could figure out some way. Maybe next gen stats. Do you know if they do game by game stats? Like, is there a way to say like, if the Lions play the Chargers, how many missed tackles the Chargers had?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, this is the new stat, so I'll be curious to see how they publish it.
Yeah, so like maybe we track that over the season and how we see how many. Well, I mean, I'm sure that someone out there's got to be tracking like how many missed tackles a team forces in a season on a game-by-game basis. So, like, where the Lions rank league-wide based upon, like, missed tackles forced, because I'll bet it's up there.
Yeah. Yeah, when I look at the next gen stats, when you click on stats, when you go to that, it's almost all offense stuff. Fastest ball carrier, longest plays, but they do have things like longest tackles. Everything else is offense. No, they got fastest sacks, longest tackles. Those are the two defense. Then improbable completions, incredible yak, and remarkable rushes, and fastest ball carriers. So most of it's offense focused, just like the league is.
Makes sense.
And then last thing before I hand it over to you, because I got to bust out of here, and I know you wanted to do a mock draft. As they were talking about, if you miss 16 or more tackles in a game, you are only 20% likely to win it. This is the list of the best tackling teams in the NFL, and we are number 5.
Right.
Even though we had a whole bunch of injuries and we were getting second string, third string, fourth string, fifth string guys in there, we were still the 5th best grading for tackling.
You know, Jack Campbell's a big part of this. And like the one that surprises me the most is Kirby Joseph, because like up until last year, he didn't really strike me as a dude who wanted to tackle. Like, he didn't want to come up and hit dudes. Yeah. He would
put the shoulder in, the Dre Bly shoulder, right?
Right. Brian Branch had, if we went back and looked at his game by game rankings or whatever, he had a very poor tackling outings early in the season last year. In fact, he stated in the media that he had to get better at tackling, otherwise the team wasn't going to succeed the way that they had wanted to. So, like, all he has to do, all these guys have to do, is just make the play that's in front of them.
Yeah,
and the Lions defense going to be solid, real solid.
So Kirby only missed 4 of 86 tackle attempts on the season.
Yep, just
awesome
what we
job.
want.
Awesome job. So,
and 9 picks. So
9 picks, yeah. So I'm going to hand it over to you. I got to bust out of here. It was really great chatting with you guys, talking Lions. And I'm super glad there's finally action in the NFL with, practices kicking off and that kind of stuff. And we've got a football game. I don't think it's before our next show, though, right?
2 days after.
2 days after. All right. Well, I'm not going to be at the next show. I'm going to be in Chicago at a conference, AWS conference, actually. So it's just going to be you, Drew, next Tuesday. But I'll be back. I'll be back after. All
right. Well, Mike, it was good to see you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, buddy.
All right. Sounds good. See you guys.
Bye, Mike. Finally, it's just us. Ugh. Will he never leave? No, I'm just kidding, obviously. All right, let me share my screen, and we'll just do a quick 1-round mock. And we're doing this just to learn names and stuff. Okay, so I got to come back here. Add that to the stage. Then I got to go here. I got to make it bigger because I always yell at Mike to make it bigger. Okay. Now we're ready to go. 1 round. We're going to pick the Lions. And let's slow this down just a little bit. So I am sure the draft order is by like Vegas odds of who's likely to have the first overall pick. So let's not go crazy with the like, what are you talking about stuff? Okay. Oh, already it's gone terribly for us. Okay, let's take a look here. This is stupid. A safety's not going first. Let's see. Caden Proctor basically stole money from the University of Iowa. That's interesting. That would be an interesting pick. This is the kid right here, Jake Slaughter, that I kind of want for the Lions. So 6'4", 294. Slaughter was the only Power 4 center with an 80-plus PFF grade in both pass blocking and run blocker. 294 is a bit light, so we'll see what he comes in at the combine. Making that even more impressive is the fact that he faced a murderer's row of defensive tackles like Walter Nolan, Alfred Collins, Shamar Turner, Deion Walker, Omar Norman Lott, Joshua Farmer, all of whom were picked in the first 4 rounds of this year's draft. Slaughter's 85.8 overall grade in 2023 trails only Jackson Powers Johnson, who was a second-round pick. He moves very well for 6'4", 308, so I don't know what this 294 is, which allows him to dominate in zone blocking scheme. So, we use a zone blocking scheme, but we also use power. Let's see. So we got a couple of options. I think this guy will be rated a lot higher. Mateo Ugalele. If Drew Aller's on the board here, I'm drafting Drew Aller. I don't care. There's no way. AIs have been acting up lately. Safety at 1 is the last draw. So Caleb Downs. So let me just can I rant about Caleb Downs for a minute? Caleb Downs was an exceptionally highly rated player coming out of high school. He went to Alabama. He was a 5-star safety, I believe. Michigan played Alabama that year. I think that was the year that Michigan 2023 was the year that Michigan won the national championship. I'm a Michigan fan. So Caleb Downs, I don't know how much he played, but he was on the field in that game, Michigan versus Bama, which I kind of think of as the greatest game I've ever watched Michigan play. But I don't know that he did anything that made me sit up and take notice of him. And then in 2024, the year that Ohio State, was it 2024? Because Michigan won a national championship, I think was it the 23-24 season? And then Ohio State won it in the 24-25 season. Yeah, that's got to be it. So then after the season, he transfers to Ohio State, right? He transfers to Ohio State. Michigan's 7-5. They go into Columbus. They beat Ohio State. Michigan scores 1 touchdown, and you can see Caleb Downs running after the guy that Michigan, whoever it was from Kello Mullings or whoever it was that scored the touchdown. And it's just Caleb Downs is on the field. Who cares? And I get that he's probably excellent every other time that he plays football. I just don't watch him because he doesn't play for the University of Michigan. He plays for my least favorite team in all of sports to watch, Ohio State. So he's probably great the entire rest of the time. He's never going to go number 1. He's a safety. If Kyle Hamilton can't go number 1, then Caleb Downs is not going number 1. I'm sorry. There's zero chance. I mean, a wide receiver hasn't gone number 1 since Keyshawn Johnson. That was the 90s. There's no – I don't think that a safety has ever gone number 1. This is just math. So, I get it, but, gross. If Drew Aller was here, I would pick him. It's just too good of value. Some other guys that I would hope would be available. Let's see, where is he? Overton, I would hope would be on the board. Denny, I think you pronounce it Denny Sutton or Danny Dennis Sutton, whichever one of the two is accurate, would be a guy that I think would be perfect for the Lions scheme, but unfortunately he's off the board. Basically, the Rams drafted 2 players that I think would be great in Detroit: Slaughter, and Kamara, who could have declared in this last year's class. Let's take a look at Tyreek Sapp. I just want to look at 6'2", 274. This is really good. Plays mostly outside tackle. That's right around the size the Lions want in their like Marcus Davenport player. Armaj Reed Adams is another guy that I really like. 6'5", 330. He's enormous. Let's see. Left guard, right guard. Played 3 snaps at tackle. I honestly believe that like they could go either one of these two guys. Edge and interior offensive lineman are the two positions I see the biggest need at. However, you know, like they might also just have everybody that they need on the interior of the offensive line. You have Glasgow for probably one more year, and then you have Miles Frazier, who you drafted late. He's hurt right now, I believe, but like this could be a developmental year for him. You know, he might play right guard, Mahogany might play left guard, and you might have Ratledge at center. Okay, so then you would probably want to go edge. The value here is Drew Aller. This kid could be awesome. 6'5", 236. Hasn't been great, but he's got everything you could want. TDs 24 and 25. Threw more picks this year. This guy just would be the guy that I would take if I was on the board. But we're not going to do that because I don't want you guys to yell at me. So, like, let's just take a look at edges really quickly. Okay. Ugalele, I think, will be way up there. Take a look at DTs. Nobody's jumping out at me here. So I'm going to take this kid Sapp from Florida. But if I was sitting there and the board was like that, I would be taking Drew Aller from Penn State. That's just a no-brainer for me. That's a no-brainer pick. So, like, the reason why next year is Goff's huge cap hit season. And then he starts to come down in price, and he starts to be able to be – I think you have to have a plan to get to – for what comes next after Jared Goff. You can't just be like, we don't have a plan. I don't think Hendon Hooker's a part of the plan. And if you're sitting there and there's a quarterback like Drew Aller that has dropped, even if it's like 6 spots, 10 spots, I think you take him. But that's just me. So, okay, next week Mike won't be around. Maybe we do like a 3-round mock and see if it changes anything, or maybe we learn some names at the least, guys to watch during the season. But that's about all I got this week. Birthday, my birthday today, as Brian has noted. So, and Dr. Detroit noted. Appreciate that. So next week, show up. We'll jump into it. Bring questions. Let me know why I'm wrong. We'll have ourselves a lively chat. Okay? That's us. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Like, click, and subscribe, all that goodness. And I will see you here next Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye. Yeah, gotta do this.